Saturday Night Live with your host, Mr. Harris Kemp.
Hi, I'm Lily. Welcome to the Weekend Update. Today we're going to be talking about the hottest swing state in America, Wisconsin, home to the cheese-loving Wisconsin cheeseheads.
From now on, we will be referring to the Wisconsin voters as cheeseheads.
These are the 4 reasons why Wisconsin is the hottest swing state in America.
1. Republican Paul Ryan is a former resident of Janesville, Wisconsin, giving him a leg up on relatability to Wisconsin voters.
Number 2, Republican Governor Scott Walker has just been re-elected, showing the cheeseheads' recent change to favoring Republicans.
3. There has been an increased dissatisfaction in the Obama administration in the past few years.
Lastly, Wisconsin has voted Democratic for the past 3 decades.
We've got some special guests, so stay tuned. It's going to be a great show for you tonight.
Obama backed the DREAM Act, a failed bill. Let me repeat, failed bill that would have provided a path for illegal immigrants in this country to gain legal status. There are already over 11 million illegal immigrants living in this country. That has to change. Vote Romney for president.
And now, a segment of the Weekend Update we like to call That's Insane! With Lily and Lily, as we discuss campaign finances in Wisconsin.
527s have donated a total of $4,855,783 in Wisconsin alone.
That's insane! Donations have been split almost evenly between the two parties, with the Democratic Party leading by only $200,000.
That's insane! Private campaign companies, mainly Obama for America and Romney for President, have donated almost $5 million each, with the Democratic parties leading only by $500,000. Both companies have started campaigning much more heavily in the recent months, showing that the election is getting much tighter.
That's insane! Private Republican donors have donated almost 6 times the amount of money for their party, making the difference in private spending almost $11 million.
That's insane. And this concludes That's Insane! With Lily and Lily.
Joining us next, we have current President Barack Obama as he comes to discuss the major issues here in Wisconsin regarding the election. Welcome, President Obama.
Thank you, Lily, and thank you to the cast of SNL, and to my beautiful wife, Michelle, and to my 2 daughters. Go to bed.
Okay, now to dive right into things, what are your opinions on the auto industry?
Well, Lily, since I've been in office, the auto industry has been steadily rebounding. In 2010, the auto industry accounted for 5.6% of the labor force in Wisconsin. I initiated a bailout for American car companies. Now, this bailout brought around more jobs for people in Wisconsin and all across America. Alone, it has been estimated that 1 million jobs have been created from this bailout, and this is my top priority, to create American jobs.
Stupendous! Next, what are your views on military restructuring and military spending?
Well, I want to focus our forces on the Asian Pacific security. Now, this reflects the China's military modernization. Military spending should be driven by strategy and not by politics. Spending needs to be based on the capabilities of the military and not on the budget. I plan to continue increase spending on military.
Very well. And what are your views on gun control here in Wisconsin specifically?
Look, there recently has been a lot of gun violence in Wisconsin. Though the right to bear arms is our Second Amendment, I want to revisit the assault weapon ban. Recent shootings in Wisconsin have raised awareness of gun laws, and many people have wanted to revive gun laws.
Okay. And what about the very controversial topic of health care?
Well, Wisconsin has been showing that My Obamacare is a bad policy. This is simply not true. The Affordable Care Act is holding insurance companies accountable, putting an end to the worst abuses, such as capping or dropping your coverage when you are sick. I also want to put an end to the charging women more than men for the same coverage.
And what are your views on the current labor laws in Wisconsin and in response to Romney's views on them?
Well, I supported people in their labor unions, and in the past 4 years, labor unions have become more numerous and successful. These labor unions will help American citizens demand what they want and change things in their employment that they see fit to change. I plan to increase American jobs and the American middle class.
Groovy. Well, thank you for being here. It's been great.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Next, joining us, we have a special guest, former governor of Massachusetts, Mitt Romney.
Welcome, Mitt.
Anything in my teeth?
You're good.
And now we're going to start off by talking about some of the most controversial topics here in Wisconsin during the election. First topic, what do you have to say about the current auto industry and how you're planning on improving it?
Well, first of all, I'd like to start off tonight by thanking you, Lily and Lily, as well as the greater state of New York and the entire world for having me here tonight. Back to the auto industry. Chrysler and General Motors should have gone through a private restructuring, and that way they would have received government guarantees after they got reorganized. President Obama only added to the deficit by bailing out General Motors and Chrysler. Additionally, taxpayers are out about $1 billion on the Chrysler rescue.
Interesting. And if elected president, what are your ideas for military restructuring?
People may ask what America has to defend against. Well, there are plenty of potential security risks on the horizon, as well as an ongoing war in Afghanistan. The defense budget needs to reflect whether the U.S. can influence foreign events, prevent new wars, and be ready for unavoidable conflicts. The way to do this is by increasing the defense budget.
Neat. Now, the people of Wisconsin are very curious to know what you are going to do about gun violence.
Although there may have been an increase in gun violence in Wisconsin lately, the overall murder rate in the country is less than half it was 2 decades ago. So I do not think new gun laws are a priority at the moment.
Riveting. Now, what are your opinions on healthcare?
The problem with the healthcare system is due to 3 things. 1, cost. 2, quality. And 3, coverage. Therefore, I will repeal Obamacare on my first day in the Oval Office because I think it fails to cover these issues effectively.
That is simply not true.
Furthermore, concerning Medicare, there needs to be the option of a government payment to help future retirees get private coverage. If we expand coverage, like President Obama wants to, the health costs will consume a growing share of the stressed economy. I will not let this happen when I become president.
Swell. And what are your thoughts about labor overall?
About 11.8% of the American workforce are members of labor unions. which is down from a third of all workers in the 1950s. More domestic manufacturing jobs have gone overseas, and businesses are taking a tougher approach against union organizers. As president, I plan to reverse Obama's executive orders concerning labor unions and instead seek national right to work legislation prohibiting unions from collecting dues from non-members.
Great. Thank you so much, Mitt Romney. It's been great to talk to you about Wisconsin. I'm sure this will be very helpful in the current election for this swing state.
Before I leave, I'd like to say something about China. They've simply been cheating the system.
Okay, thank you so much for coming. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
And now it is time for us to talk about the overall election and how the candidates are taking on important issues that the American people are currently struggling with, such as the current economy, gay and lesbian rights, and abortion.
For the economy, in efforts to create a social safety net, Obama has increased the Community Services Block Grant by $1 billion, while additionally increasing unemployment insurance and providing new resources for temporary assistance for needy families, also known as TANF, has proven to be very focused on affordable housing for middle-class families and the resurrection of struggling communities.
Obama plans to reduce the current deficit in the economy through initiating spending cuts and increased revenues, including asking the wealthy people in America to pay their fair share. This is his plan to reduce the deficit by $4 trillion within the next decade.
Romney's efforts to create a social safety net are based on his plan to cover the costs of new tax cuts for wealthy Americans, and the Ryan budget is planning on making big changes in Medicare, Medicaid, and many other safety net programs. In addition, Romney would like to significantly increase the retirement age for Social Security. In regards to federal budget priorities, Romney's campaign has promised to cut all non-defense discretionary spending by 5%, while he will cap the total spending at 20% of GDP. While doing this, he plans to increase the military defense spending.
Now it's time to touch on an important topic called gay rights, and the two candidates in fact have very different views on this topic. President Obama agrees that there should be legal recognition of same-sex marriage in all states, while Governor Romney plans to outlaw same-sex marriage with a constitutional amendment.
This debate has stirred up turmoil with voters in America and Wisconsin, specifically due to the very radical and differing opinions the two candidates have on the topic.
Another very controversial topic is abortion. So far this election season, we've noticed that the candidates are very reluctant to dwell on this topic, seeing as people have such strong opinions about it. And recognizing that it's a personal matter, but the candidates have to each take a strong stance on their opinions.
President Barack Obama supports abortion rights, and his health care law requires contraceptives to be available for free for women in workplace health plans. Republican Mitt Romney opposes abortion rights, though he previously supported them. He says the Supreme Court ruling establishing abortion rights should be reversed, allowing states to ban abortion. He's also criticized mandatory coverage for contraception as a threat to religious liberty.
Overall, Romney would like to leave the decision for the states to make on whether abortion should be outlawed or not, but he believes it should be.
This has been an overview of major issues in the 2012 presidential elections.
Thank you for listening. Wait! We're getting a call. It seems that Obama has begun to take his taxation laws to the streets and is asking citizens of Wisconsin to listen to his new plans. Let's cut to that.
Excuse me, can I take a minute of your time to tell you about my taxation plans?
Okay.
Well, I'm working to keep taxes for middle-class families low and asking millionaires and billionaires to pay their fair share. I've cut taxes for every working American, saving two typical middle-class families $3,600 in taxes. Mitt wants to raise taxes on the middle class to pay for tax cuts for millionaires, costing the typical American family with two kids $2,000 more each year. I'm investing in the middle class. I'm reducing the deficit by more than $4 trillion over the next decade, by having spending cuts and revenue increases. Mitt Romney has given very little details on his plan.
Well, it sure looks like Obama is taking initiative and telling the people of Wisconsin his taxation plans, so that gave us a great idea.
we're gonna take it to the streets as well. Let's go!
Okay. Let's take it to the streets. And now we're gonna ask some real Wisconsin voters what their plans are for the upcoming election.
Excuse me. Who are you gonna vote for in the upcoming election?
Obama.
And who have you voted for in the past?
Obama.
And can you tell me why?
I really like his education plan.
Very nice. Do you know anything about it?
Yeah, I actually have it all written down. Do you want to hear me talk about it?
I would love that.
Okay, just hold on a second. Just gotta get this out. Okay, well, Obama saved and created 250,000 teaching jobs this last year, which is very good because I need teachers because I need education. And he wants to continue to get more teachers, and he also made the Race to the Top Act, and which gives 46 states education reforms. So that's really good. And he wants to request $69.8 billion for spending in the United States Department of Education.
Very cool. Thank you.
And now we continue our search for more Wisconsin cheeseheads to interview about the upcoming election. I think we found one. Excuse me. Can I please ask you a few questions about the upcoming election?
Sure.
Who do you plan on voting for?
Romney?
And how have you voted in the past?
Democratic.
Interesting. And what are your thoughts on Romney's public education plans?
Hold this for 1 second. I actually wrote it all down. Well, people like Obama's plan, but he still is planning on...
Take your time, it's alright. We know it's a complicated subject.
Hundreds of thousands of people were still laid off with Obama's education plan, but they both agree for the race to the top. And Romney wants to cut discretionary spending by 5% immediately, then eventually up to 20% on K-12 spending, because there are more important things than education.
Thank you for your view. We'll get back to you. This has been our segment on Taking It to the Streets.
Former Governor Mitt Romney said that he would veto the DREAM Act. Yet, in the second presidential debate, he said that he wanted to make a path for young illegal immigrants to become legal. Not very consistent, are we? Do you want someone like Mitt Romney for your president? Vote Obama 2012.
This brings us to a section we like to call
Really?
with Lily and Lily.
Really, Mitt Romney? This was an accident?
Really? Really, Obama? We realize being president is a tiring job, but the least you could do is try and stay awake during the first debate. Really?
Really, Romney? Binders full of women? At least make an attempt to pander to female voters. Really?
Really, Biden? We know those photos of Paul Ryan in Time magazine were funny, but it's time to focus on the debate. The whole thing was spent cackling. Really?
Really, Romney? Global warming isn't caused by man? Have you seen an inconvenient truth? Have you heard of Hummers? Really?
And this concludes Really with Lily and Lily. Now it's the part of the night where we're going to make our final prediction, deciding which way Wisconsin will swing.
Based on their voting history, the conversations we had tonight, and the most recent electoral polls, we have concluded that Wisconsin will vote Democratic.
And this concludes our broadcast. Thank you and good night.
Best of luck. You too. I saved the Olympics.
Well, the 1980s called and they want their 4